the power of waves in life and the universe. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When we think of waves, most of us imagine oceans, endless horizons of blue, waves rising and falling in rhythm, tides shaping the coastline over centuries. But tonight, I invite you to think more deeply. Waves are far more than water in motion. They are energy in motion. They are the language of nature itself. They are the patterns that govern light, sound, matter, and even society. For millennia, humans have been fascinated by waves. Ancient sailors studied ocean swells to navigate across vast, unknown waters. Farmers observed seasonal wind patterns to predict rainfall. Philosophers marveled at patterns of light and sound, asking whether reality itself might be a series of vibrations and oscillations. Even our earliest music and poetry are built on the subtle recognition of rhythm, waves of sound moving through time. Understanding waves means exploring one of the most fundamental truths of the universe. Energy moves, patterns repeat, and nothing in life is ever truly static. Waves are everywhere, in the oceans, the air we breathe, the electromagnetic spectrum, the ground beneath our feet, and in the rise and fall of our societies. They are visible and invisible, gentle and violent, simple and extraordinarily complex. Tonight, we will explore these dynamics not just as scientists, but as human beings seeking insight into the rhythms of life itself. Each chapter will take us from the simplest ripples in a pond to the most profound waves in our society, our technology, and our inner selves. And through it all, one lesson emerges. To understand waves is to understand the flow of life itself. When we hear the phrase, the dynamics of waves, many of us picture the ocean, rolling blue horizons, white crests breaking along a shoreline, the rhythmic sound that seems both ancient and eternal. If you've ever stood on the coast of California or watched the Atlantic crash against the shores of Florida, you know that waves are not just water in motion. They are power. They are rhythm. They are memory. But tonight, I want to invite you to think about waves in a broader, deeper way. Waves are not just in the ocean. They are in our science, our technology, our culture, our economy, and even our hearts. Waves are one of the most fundamental patterns in the universe, and understanding their dynamics helps us understand not just physics, but life itself. What is a wave? At its simplest, a wave is a disturbance that travels through space or through a medium, transferring energy without permanently moving matter from one place to another. That definition may sound technical, but the idea is beautiful. When you drop a stone into a pond, ripples expand outward. The water itself doesn't travel across the pond, the energy does. The motion passes along, molecule to molecule, like a whisper moving through a crowd. There are many kinds of waves. Mechanical waves, like sound and water waves. Electromagnetic waves, like light and radio. Seismic waves, moving through the earth. Even quantum waves at the smallest scales of reality. The study of waves has shaped modern physics. From the work of Isaac Newton to Albert Einstein, and from classical mechanics to quantum theory, waves have forced us to rethink what matter, energy, and reality truly are. The ocean, where we first learned to listen. For centuries, humans learned about waves not in laboratories, but on shorelines. The ocean taught sailors how to survive. It taught coastal communities when to fish and when to flee. It taught engineers how to build harbors and breakwaters. But beneath the beauty of ocean waves lies complex physics. Wind transfers energy to the water's surface. Gravity pulls the water back down. The interplay between inertia and restoring forces creates oscillation. The result? Rhythm. And here is something fascinating. Most water particles in a wave move in circular orbits. They rise and fall, but they don't travel across the ocean. Energy moves. The water mostly stays. There's a lesson in that. Sometimes we think progress requires us to physically move everything. But often, what truly moves the world is not matter. It is energy, information, and influence. Hat 3. Sound waves, the architecture of communication. Now let's shift from the ocean to something more intimate, your voice. When you speak, you create pressure waves in air. Tiny compressions and rarefactions travel outward at about 343 meters per second. That's sound. Everything from a baby's first cry to a symphony orchestra is wave dynamics in action. The music of Louis Armstrong, the voice of Martin Luther King Jr. delivering "I Have a Dream." The crack of a baseball bat in Major League Baseball. All of it, waves. Sound waves reveal principles like frequency and amplitude. Frequency determines pitch. Amplitude determines loudness. Wavelength determines spatial pattern. When frequencies align in harmony, we hear music. When they clash, we hear noise. In physics, this is called interference. In life, we might call it cooperation. Light, the wave that illuminates the universe. Light is perhaps the most extraordinary wave we know. In the 19th century, scientists like James Clerk Maxwell showed that light is an electromagnetic wave, oscillating electric and magnetic fields traveling through space at incredible speed. Then came the 20th century, and physicists like Max Planck and Einstein revealed something astonishing. Light is both a wave and a particle. This wave-particle duality shook the foundations of science. It taught us that reality is not always either-or. Sometimes it is both and. And today, electromagnetic waves power everything. Radio waves carry our voices. Microwaves heat our food. Infrared warms our homes. Visible light allows us to see. X-rays peer inside our bodies. Your smartphone, perhaps built by a company like Apple Inc., is essentially a wave processing device. We live inside a sea of invisible waves. Seismic waves, when the Earth speaks. Waves are not always gentle. When tectonic plates shift, energy is released in seismic waves. These waves travel through the Earth, revealing its internal structure. Earthquakes remind us that stored energy can suddenly become motion. But they also remind us of resilience. Cities rebuild. Communities come together. Knowledge improves safety. The dynamics of waves teach us something profound. Energy is never destroyed. It transforms. The mathematics of waves. Behind the poetry lies mathematics. The wave equation is one of the most elegant in physics. It describes how disturbances propagate in space and time. What's remarkable is that the same mathematical structure describes vibrating guitar strings, ocean swells, light traveling across galaxies, quantum probability waves. This unity reveals a deep truth. Nature favors patterns. And when we recognize patterns, we gain power. The power to predict, to innovate, to build. Number 7, social waves, movements that reshape nations. Now let us step beyond physics. Waves are not just physical phenomena, they are social ones. Ideas spread like waves. The civil rights movement spread across the United States like a rising tide. The words of Dr. King moved from city to city, heart to heart, creating momentum. Technological revolutions move in waves. The Industrial Revolution, the Digital Revolution, the AI Revolution. Markets move in waves. Optimism rises. Fear falls. Recovery builds. Just like ocean waves, social waves have build up, crest, break, dissipation. And then another wave follows. Understanding this helps us remain steady during turbulence. No wave lasts forever, neither the storm nor the calm. 8. Personal waves, the inner oscillation. Each of us lives in waves. Motivation rises and falls. Confidence builds and recedes. Grief crashes and then slowly softens. We often expect life to move in straight lines. Upward progress, constant growth. But nature rarely moves in straight lines. It oscillates. And oscillation is not failure. It is rhythm. When we resist the rhythm, we suffer. When we learn to move with it, we grow. IX, interference. When waves meet, one of the most powerful concepts in wave dynamics is interference. When two waves meet, they can amplify each other, constructive interference, or they can cancel each other out, destructive interference. This applies to sound, to light, to water, and perhaps to us. When we align our efforts, our talents, our voices, we amplify impact. When we oppose without understanding, we cancel potential. A choir is powerful not because one voice dominates, but because many voices resonate in harmony. X, the future, riding the next wave. The United States has often defined itself as a nation willing to ride waves of change rather than be crushed by them. From the scientific advances inspired by Einstein's theories to the digital transformation led by innovators in Silicon Valley, wave after wave of discovery has reshaped the nation. The next waves are already here. Renewable energy harnessing ocean and wind waves, quantum computing using wave properties of matter, advanced communications using electromagnetic precision. The question is not whether waves will come. They always do. The question is whether we will understand their dynamics well enough to ride them. X sign, lessons from waves. Let me leave you with 5 lessons from the dynamics of waves. 1. Energy moves even when matter does not. Influence matters. 2. Oscillation is natural. Highs and lows are part of growth. 3. Alignment amplifies power. Harmony multiplies impact. 4. Stored energy can transform suddenly. Preparation matters. 5. Patterns repeat. Wisdom comes from recognizing cycles. Conclusion. Becoming the wave. When you leave here tonight, perhaps you will hear waves differently. In the sound of your own voice, in the rhythm of your heartbeat, in the rise and fall of your community. Waves are not chaos, they are structured motion. They remind us that change is not random, it is dynamic. And perhaps the most powerful idea of all is this: you are not just watching waves, you are generating them. Every word you speak sends ripples. Every action creates momentum. Every idea carries energy outward, riding the currents of life. As we draw this journey to a close, let us pause and reflect on the totality of what waves represent, both in the natural world and in our own lives. Waves are not isolated phenomena. They are part of a vast interconnected web, a universal rhythm that binds the cosmos to the oceans, physics to society, and science to the human spirit. From the gentle ripple in a pond to the violent surge of an earthquake, from the softest whisper of a loved one's voice to the blinding speed of light across galaxies, waves remind us that energy and motion are fundamental to all existence. They carry information, shape matter, and connect people across time and space. They teach us about balance, resonance, and the importance of timing. In our personal lives, waves are everywhere. Our emotions rise and fall. Our motivation waxes and wanes. Our communities grow and contract. Understanding the dynamics of these waves, the oscillations, the interference, the alignment, the energy flow, is a profound tool for navigating life. Waves tell us that nothing is permanent, yet everything is meaningful. They remind us that even when we are still, energy moves through us, touching others in ways we may never fully see. The beauty of waves lies in their duality. They are predictable, yet surprising. Gentle, yet powerful. Invisible, yet undeniable. They teach us patience, resilience, and adaptability. And ultimately, they show us that we are not merely observers of life's currents,